This is everything that you need to know about making R&B in 4 levels: the beginner, intermediate, upper, intermediate, and industry pro. We're going to be going over each level's music theory and overall sound, and we're going to be making a beat with it, with this beat getting gradually more complex as we rank up throughout the levels. And disclaimer, you'll see soon that you can still make amazing beats with these lower levels. Complexity doesn't always mean better. That just means you have a more broad range of what you can actually do. So on level 1, you know your basic chords and know how to play your basic major and minor chords. For example, you know that on your piano roll, a major chord is 3 spaces, 2, and a minor chord is 2, 3. And you even know how to play your 7 and your 9s. Now, if you're right here, I highly recommend you to stop anything that you're doing and learn about the number system. It's a system that makes understanding music 100 times easier. So just a quick rundown on what the number system is just you're basically just putting a number to each and every key in the scale. For example, we are in the scale of C minor or E flat major. Just for concurrency, for every other music video that you see about the number system, we're going to be in E flat major, okay? So for example, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the 1. But obviously for this beat, we're going to be in C minor. So probably for us, it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to the 1. The same goes for chords as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Right? Right. Easy. And I'm telling you, once you actually start to understand this, which is not really hard to even understand, making melodies is just 100 times easier. So let's go over the chord progression of the beat. We're going to be playing a 1, a 6 to a 4. Easy, right? And this is what it looks like in MIDI. And as you can see, I'm playing a 9th, so basically I'm just muting the 1 because I'm already playing the 1 in the bass, and then playing the rest of the chords with my right. And also for this level, for your bass line, it's just the root note. And so what you usually find in this level is that your beats will probably sound like this. And so the next level, level 2, is going to be intermediate. Now, right after you learn about the number system and you memorize a particular scale, doesn't matter what scale, just one scale if you like, you start to learn about inversions next. So Nate, what are inversions? Thank you for asking. Basically, inversions are different voicings for the same chord. So for example, instead of just playing this, an inversion is you take this, put it down. See how it's the exact same chord, but it sounds different. Now on piano, what you're going to realize is that you have different types of inversions. You have inversions 1 through 3. So this is your regular chord. This is inversion 1, inversion 2, and then inversion 3. And this is really important to know because now you can be introduced to the concept of voice leading. Nate, voice leading, what is that? What is that, Nate? What? So basically throughout your chord progression, you try to match each and every chord so they can play as many similar keys as possible. And this way, you also minimize how much your hand actually has to play around the keyboard and move. So now it'll sound more cohesive and basically just less of a hassle to actually play. So that's exactly what I did here. As you can see, this is inversion 2, inversion 3, and just a regular chord. But now you can see that they have more matching keys. And this is especially important for strings as well. As you see on my strings, the only difference between each chord is just one key. And also, if you just want to have like a one-on-one call with me, totally free, just for me to check out your beats, give you some feedback, and just give you some personalized tips, book a call in the description. Totally free, one-on-one call with me. It rhymes, so I guess you gotta do it if you want to. I'm not forcing you to. And also on this level, you start to play more phrases in general. But hold on, there is another thing that will actually put your beats to another level, literally level 2, and that's the introduction of playing at a key, more specifically dominant chords. Now Nate, what are dominant chords? Thank you for asking. Dominant chords is what I like to call the chord that is in between a major and a minor. Now let me explain, okay? So when playing a major chord, right? You know the spaces between each key is 3, 2, 3. However, for a dominant, at the very end, your 7 that's relative to your group, you place it down. Now you have a dominant. However, if you play a minor, which is 2-3-2, you can see that your last key is already in place, so what you have to do is actually change your 3 to go up more. And then now you have a dominant as well. And this key can create a lot of tension, and that's what you use it mainly for. Where I like to use it is like at the end of a chord progression, so it can be resolved at the beginning of another. So at this level, this is what your beats might sound like. But to get your beats to an even greater level, which is level 3, you begin to learn about passing chords. Now, what are passing chords? Now, basically, they're just chords that make it sound smoother for you to go from one chord to another. Now, for example, you want this progression from the 6 to the 4 much smoother. What we'll do is we'll make a passing chord in between, which is just a 5, and it'll sound a lot smoother and more cohesive. But also, at this level, you start to learn common tricks in R&B that make R&B. For example, the 2-5-1. Now, I don't know if you heard about that, but do you actually know what it is? Let me explain. The 2-5-1 is a chord progression that is synonymous with R&B. That can be used for a main chord progression of the song. However, right here, we're going to use it as passing chords, with the 1 being whatever chord that we want to resolve in, and then the 2-5 is just relative to whatever the 1 is. So, for example, if we want to resolve in the 4, that means our 2 is going to be the 5, and our 5 is going to be the 1 that's relative to the scale. Our example right here is going to be 2, 5, and then we're going to resolve back to our 1. Now, this is really helpful because our 1 is actually the 1, and our 2 is actually the 2, and our 5 is actually going to be the 5. And it just so happened that it just played out like that. So since we know our 1, and we want to use the 2-5-1, before we play our 1, we just play the 2, then the 5, to resolve to the 1. Easy, right? Let me know in the comments if I explained that pretty well. And this is the level where you actually start to play instruments pretty well. And it really doesn't matter what instrument it is. It can be your piano, guitar, bass guitar. And speaking of bass guitar, oh buddy, this is the level where you realize that just playing the root note of whatever chord you're in for the bass is really boring. Now, I might be biased because I am a bass player, but come on, bro. Put some little spice in that bass line, bro. And so you start to lay down more interesting bass lines, applying the 1/5 octave of whatever note that you're in. And also, you start to put a little bit more effort into playing more interesting drums as well. And don't worry, that drum tutorial is coming soon. Okay, I've seen you guys' comments. You guys want it. Ask and you shall receive. But not today. I'm sorry. This video is already jam-packed as it is. So at level 3, this is what your beats might sound like. But even though there's been a lot of information in this video, we still got one more level left to cover. And let me tell you, this is gonna be on another level, level 4, okay. Pretty sure I said that already in another level, but I really do mean it. And this is the level where you start to play more complex chords. However, these complex chords don't really seem that complex to you because you start to understand that you can completely change a chord and its voicing by just changing one key or two. So for example, this G sharp major 7 can be easily be turned into a G sharp major 13 by just taking this, putting it down. Easy. Same with this G minor 7 right here. And to make it a diminished, all you do is just take this, put it down 1, take this, put it down up, and now you have a G diminished. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I really said that. Can y'all tell me what's wrong with me? Because I don't know. And then what comes with this deeper understanding is that learning multiple instruments becomes a lot easier for you to do. And you're a lot more comfortable playing embellishments more often, like this. But what is truly the difference maker between level 4 and every other level under it is that they go out of their way to actually try and understand different instruments that they don't have physically but virtually. For example, if they have a harp VST, they'll go out of their way and watch a YouTube video on how harps actually work, as if they actually have a physical harp with them. Or they'll just go ahead and search up how composers actually composes their strings and apply that for their beat, as if they are a composer themselves. And same goes for any other instruments like brass, woodwinds, and things of that nature. But most importantly, everything else that I said before is minor to what I'm about to tell you right now. This is by far the most important thing that you get out of this video, and I don't say that lightly. At level 4, they know how to make a damn good bass line that is arguably doing way too much for the beat, but they do not care. But this is just a general idea of your progression as a producer. And obviously there's a nuance. What you can learn in level 2 is something that somebody else probably learned at their level 3. Everybody's journey is going to be completely different. However, if you do want to make a really good bass line, like the one at the end, do recommend you watch this video, buddy.